Hello my hippie favorites, I am here with the mid-year book freakout tag, which has been a long time coming, and I've actually never done one of these before, so I'm kind of excited. What is the best book you've read this year? So far that would be a Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Eileen. It's one I picked up because I thought the cover was absolutely stunning and the story is amazing. It's about magic performed with tea and tea ceremonies, and there's a contest involved to assist the royal family, and there's palace intrigue, and it was just a fantastic read and I really enjoyed it. Best sequel you've read in 2022, that would be Our Violence Ends by Chloe Gong. This book had everything. It was such a satisfying conclusion to these violent delights, and honestly I was terrified that Roma and Juliet wouldn't die, which, you know, is kind of important for the story of Romeo and Juliet. Like, it's tragic, but it would be kind of insulting to the original story. But it ended in such a satisfying and heartbreaking way. I'm thrilled. I'm so glad I read it, and I'm so glad I pre-ordered it too. By the way, pre-order books, please. It'll help authors so much. Third question is a new release that you've been waiting to read but haven't gotten around to. The original video had Go Hunt Me by Kelly DeVos, who wrote the Day One duology, and Fat Girl on a Plane, and it's about, I think, a bunch of influencers who are spending time in a Romanian castle, and there's vampires, so what's not to like? Another new release that I've really been wanting to get into is a What Souls Are Made Of by Tasha Suri. It's a remix of Wuthering Heights done with minorities, and it's a whole series. Like the first book is a retelling of Treasure Island called Clash of Steel, and they're all by different authors, so I've been dying to read that. And another one I've really just recently gotten my hands on is Padawan by Kirsten White, and I love Kirsten White's writing so much. She did a Buffy series, and she did the Winifred Deception, and it's something about the Dark Descent of Elizabeth Ferguson, I think. Just incredible writer. I am so excited to read these books. Fourth question is, what is an anticipated book for the second half of 2022? That would be Nona the Ninth. If you follow me on Twitter, and you may want to do that just for random babblings, it's kind of fun there, then you'll know I've been obsessed with this book. I've been counting down how many hours until I have it in these sweet little hands. The next question is, what was the biggest disappointment in 2022? That would be by Tanvi Barwa, I think that's how you pronounce it. This was like kind of like a vibe of Waterworld and the Hunger Games, and for whatever reason I just wasn't really into it as much as I thought I would be. It was a NetGalley book. Just want to make sure to disclose that so nobody gets mad at me. But yeah, I think that the writing was decent. It just wasn't a story for me, and that's okay because it's a young adult book and I'm 42 years old. I just happened to like mostly young adult books because I think that they can tell more interesting stories than adult books. So yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, if that's the worst book I've read this year, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't bad, it just wasn't for me. So I'm doing pretty good book-wise. Biggest surprise of 2022 would be Belladonna by Adeline Grace. It was marketed as a girl is on the run from death, and I thought it seemed very dramatic and just a tiny bit silly. So like, I got it from NetGalley and I read it, and in the very beginning a girl takes belladonna to poison herself after like this horrific poisoning scene where a bunch of people die. Anyway, this girl takes a bunch of belladonna to kill herself. Death comes, she stabs him, and I was like, I am in love. It's such a great story with like an interesting plot twist, which I kind of sort of saw, but not exactly. But it was also one of those ones where like you read it and you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense, and like you don't feel like tricked, which honestly my favorite kind of plot twist. But yeah, it was a fantastic book, and I think it's coming out in August, so watch out for that one. The next question is new favorite author, and I think that one would have to go to Judy Island, who wrote On Magic Steeped in Poison. The sequel is also coming out in August. I think it's called A Venom So Dark and Sweet. Newest fictional crush, which is question number 8. I don't really have a newest one. My fictional crushes are Gideon and Harrow from The Locked Tomb. Always and forever. I love them so much. I am so excited for Nona Midnight. I requested her on NetGalley. Probably not gonna get it because it's almost August and the book comes out September 13th. But who knows, it's still pending, so there may be hope. Anyway, yeah, so it's not really so much of a newest because it's like I fell in love with Gideon like after I read the first chapter of Gideon the Ninth. So not so much new, but it is sincere. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. That would have to go to Signa from Belladonna by Adeline Grace, just for the poisoning herself and Stabity. I thought that was amazing. I loved it so much. I was so into it. Number 10 was The Book That Made You Cry in 2022, and that would be Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. Look, it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. Of course I cried. Come on. Book that made you happy in 2022. That would be Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. Probably one of my favorite series of all time. It stacks right up with the Johnny Dixon series by John Belair and the 3 investigators for middle grade reads that I still find really enjoyable as a middle-aged woman. So weird to say, but true. Artemis Fowl is basically like the idea of Harry Potter if Harry Potter was a complete immoral bastard. And yes, I am saying this about the 12-year-old, but read the books and find out. And please, I am begging you, stay away from that horrible movie. Would have enjoyed it if I had no idea what Artemis Fowl was about. It's a terrible adaptation, and I legitimately feel bad for the kid who played Artemis because that wasn't it. But anyway, the book made me very happy. The movie made me enraged. Question 12. Best movie adaptation you've seen in 2022. That one's gonna have to go to Millennium, which is based on the Stieg Larsson books. It was a television series in Sweden. I've been watching the extended version. It's fantastic. It's a great adaptation. Question 13 is, what is the favorite review? I think I wrote that down badly. What is your favorite review of 2022? Probably my review of Parasite by Mira Grant, where I mentioned Leto Atreides II. The book is about tapeworms, and if you understand the reference, I'm sure you'll find it very amusing. I did. Question 14. What was the most beautiful book you bought this year? The most beautiful book would probably be Zachary Ying and the Dragon Emperor by Sharon J. Zhao. It's just the cover, actually, you know what, I'm gonna put it right there somewhere, maybe sitting on my shoulder like a good little shoulder minion, but it's an absolutely stunning cover. Also, I really liked the cover for A Magic Steeped in Poison, but I'd already mentioned that I gotten it because of the cover, so that seemed like it was a little bit cheaty. So yeah, that's my answer. Number 15 is, what books do you need to read by the end of this year? And that, see, this feels like cheating too, but it's Stone of the Ninth. Like, I've been craving it ever since December when I pre-ordered it. I'm obsessed. I need this book in my life immediately. Question 16. Then we get off here, which would be great because it is so flipping hot. Who's your favorite community member? For booktube? Let's see, I really like Me and My Tea. Her channel should be in my channel list on YouTube. So if you go to, well, actually you should be on my profile. So anyway, check out her channel, it's great. She does book subscription unboxings, and her taste in nail polish is fantastic. And there are chickens. I also really, what's that? I really like Pierre Ford and Daniel Green. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, so that was my mid-year book freakout tag. Hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed creating it. Except for the heat, because good grief. Okay, have a hoopy day and keep it pretty. And remember to stay hydrated and cool. Bye.